Good morning, everybody. We are going to work on chest opening today as a kind of precursor to back bending, but also so that we can move our bodies into the possibility of binding, of closing kind of circuits in the pose. So I want you to start, have a blanket nearby just in case you need it. And there's going to be a lot of if this doesn't work, then this for our start. But if you can, and some of my folks out there, especially those who have a bit of rounding in the upper back or forward head posture, I do want you to be particularly mindful in how you set up. So we're going to start, for most of us, with the block that's going to go under your head at the highest level, and the second block that's going to go down at the shoulder blades on the second level. So second level, highest level. And we're going to lay over those, and give me a second. If you have a fair amount of upper back rounding, or if you lay and your head is already tilting back, then this lower block is going to be too high. I want you to lower that down. I want your head, neck to be comfortable in this first part of our pose. And then finally, if the block is just too hard, right? If it's digging into flesh, you're just going to take your blanket, not thick, and lay it over your block so that you have a little bit of extra cushion over the block if need be. Okie dokie. All right, so there's that. So come to your blocks. Always support your head because you love your head and your neck. And your first block, you're going to lay on it, keep your chin tucked. And for me, it's just below the tip of my shoulder blades. That's where it feels good to me. And then supporting the head, you're going to take your upper block and lay the very back of your head on the block. The other thing here too is if you come into this position and you right away feel your lower back, then I would take your blanket wherever it went and I would put it under your sacrum to raise the hips up a little bit. You can also use a pillow there. So we're going to be here for a little bit. So I do want you to take a moment to set up so that it feels okay to you. Your feet can be on the floor. That's where I would start, just to give the low back a chance to relax. You can adjust the one at your back up or down a little bit. Just make sure the block at your head is fully supported and it doesn't feel tippy at all. And then if you can, you're going to take your arms out to the side. Whew. And close your eyes. If you're super comfortable and you want to straighten your legs, go ahead and do that. It might be a little too much this early in class. And you can also lift the hips and lengthen the tailbone. So in this position, your head and your neck are fairly neutral. Your chin might even be slightly tucked, but you should be able to breathe nice and easy. The arms ideally out toward the sides. They could be cactus, they could be straight, so that we get this chest opening. And then find your breath. As I said, we're going to be here in some variation for a while today, a part of a yin-ish class. And what happens often, right, especially with the tightness in the chest, or if the upper back is rounding a lot, that pressure to kind of just move through that curve can be rather intense at times. So you decide. And again, if you need to put both blocks lower, please do that. Take the time to do that. And as we find our breath, we allow the muscles of the chest to open. We just let gravity take these muscles and stretch them. We're not engaging anything. We're not doing anything. We are just inquiring on exploring how this feels. Maybe you shift the arms so that they're a little bit lower because out to the side feels a little too much this early in class. Maybe you take them up a little bit higher because you want to explore a different angle in the chest. But wherever you are, see if you can find some stillness, see if you can find your breath. And notice that as you take a nice deep breath, not only do the front lungs fill, the front ribs expand out, but also the back ribs, you feel them press into your block. Notice that maybe breathing is a little bit easier. Notice that the tightness in the chest maybe doesn't feel as tight as it did before. And then imagine in our lives if we paused long enough to inquire what was going on. Maybe when we feel sad or angry, that we pause and we let gravity do its work. We just wait. If your legs are straight, go ahead and bend them. Put your feet back on the floor. You're going to leave, if you're comfortable, you're going to leave your bottom block, the one at the shoulder blades, you're going to leave it right where it is. If it's becoming uncomfortable, lower it to the lowest level. But you're going to take your top block, the one around your head, you're going to support your head, lift the head with your hand. Lower that block to second level. You just got to kind of feel it. Your head's going to drop lower so that both blocks are at the same height. The chin is lifted a little bit. You might have to adjust. I just had to lower my upper block a little bit, or my lower block a little bit. My chin is now lifted. I'm hitting some different fibers of the neck, the head, the chest. Once you're there, you can play with straightening the legs. Hang in there with me. If this is becoming unbearable, please come off your blocks and maybe use a blanket under your shoulder blades and no blocks at all. But take a deep breath. Feel how the front ribs expand, the front lungs expand. As you exhale, feel how it draws down into the block. And breathe. Relax your jaw, relax your neck. Maybe shift the arms. And then one more time, if the legs are straight, bend the knees. Take one hand behind the head. You're going to lower the head block to the lowest level. Support your head as it comes down to the block. Now the front of the throat is much more open. The chin is lifted. Your head should feel very comfortable on your block. And you shouldn't feel any distress at the back of the neck, okay? So you're not over compressing. If your head is hanging, if it feels like it's hanging all the way to the floor, it's probably too low. I would go back up to second level and just feel that. And then maybe shift the arms again. I know that mid back is feeling funky, so hang in. We're almost done. Find your breath. Open up the chest, the shoulders, maybe the arms go more diagonally higher. Just see how that feels. Big deep breath. Maybe the arms go more overhead. This is a huge stretch for most of us. So just see. Big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath, everybody. And then lower the arms, both hands behind your head or one. Roll off your block. Take both blocks out of the way. And then gently roll back down onto your back and pause. Woo. Make sure the upper back is nice and long. Feel the back ribs. I know that can be a little tender, so just give it a moment. Take both arms overhead, the palms are face up, and then just your right hand, let it come down to the floor alongside the hips, palm face down. So one arm one way, one arm the other way. And then switch and switch. Good, switch and switch. One more, both sides, switch and switch. And then take both arms to cactus pose. And imagine that you're going to scoop your shoulder blades down, right? So you can even lift that upper back and scoot the shoulder blades down, and then let the cactus arms, the hands go back so that the backs of your hands are on the floor again. And feel that. And then as you inhale, arch your back. As you exhale, press everything into the floor. So your low back, your mid back, your upper back presses down. Good. Inhale, arch. Exhale, release. One more right here. Inhale, arch. Exhale. And then bring both knees to chest, wrap both arms around or under your knees, either way, and rock side to side. Roll your knees over to the right and use your right arm, your bottom arm, to cushion your head. Take your left arm out to the side. It's kind of just, lengthened out from your shoulder. And find your torso relatively in a straight line. So if you feel like you're kind of curling into fetal pose, just straighten up a little bit. And then inhale your top arm up, listen up, draw it into its socket. So don't reach high up to the ceiling, draw it down. And then just let the arm come back behind you any amount. So this is controlled. I don't want you to hang that arm out of its socket. Just control it. So, and then inhale it up, take it down to the floor. Just one more right here. Take it up, pull it into its arm socket, open it up. I'm hitting wall here, so I can't go too far. And then inhale it up and exhale. Good. Release that side, roll over to your other side. Simple, simple. You're on your left side, your left arm supports your head. Your knees are bent. Take the right arm out in front of you. Inhale it up, draw it down into its socket. Let it open up behind you. Go easy. And then inhale it up, let it come back to the floor. One more. Up to the ceiling, draw it down to its socket. Open it to the side, stretch, and then inhale it up, let it come back to the floor, and then press yourself up to a seated pose. Yeah. Good. Whew, roll it out and just kind of get a sense of how that's feeling all of a sudden. And then just move through your ribs, and you can even reach the arms out. I want you to do this kind of movement of the shoulders and especially that back body where the block was. Okay. And maybe switch and release it. I probably don't need to say this every time, but if you're sitting cross-legged and that hurts for you, just find a different way to sit. Every way is okay with me. You're going to leave your left hand on your knee, or depending on how you're sitting, somewhere on your leg. Take the right arm out and draw it back into its joint so that both shoulders feel pretty even. Now, this is a great thing to do at a wall if your palm was pressed up against the wall, but we don't have one right now. So we're going to take it up at a diagonal and stretch. Your other hand is used to just keep you from over twisting, okay? And then bring it back to neutral. Take it still at an angle, but a little less. And down. Take it straight out from the shoulder and back. Take it down at a slight angle, woo, and back. Take it down at a low angle. So there's 5 little swipes there. Good. One more, both same side. Up and out. Whew. Good. Out to the shoulder. Good. Slightly down. And almost all the way down. Whoo, yeah. And shake it out, let it go. That right hand goes to your knee or somewhere. Take the top arm up, reach and back. And slight diagonal and back. Right off the shoulder. Yep. And back. Part way down at an angle and back. Last one, low angle and back. Take it right back up. Stretch and diagonal. Whew. Good. And off your shoulder. And slightly down. Good. And then all the way down. If you're at a computer all day, good. Roll them both out. I would just take a moment to do those little stretches. All right, we're going to do just one time, both arms. Okay, so they both go up. Wah, right? We're like, yay! Stretch them back and then bring them both forward. A little less of an angle. Open and bring them back. Right off the shoulder. Stretch and forward. Bring them down slightly. Oh, yeah. Bring it forward. Almost down. And release it, let go. All right, last one here. Take your right arm, take it out to the side. Internal rotation, right? So what does that mean? You probably know this by now, but that internal rotation, it's bringing the shoulder forward, it's bringing the arm forward. If you really went far, that whole shoulder would roll forward. Okay, so internal rotation. Reach the arm behind you as far as it'll go. See if those fingers will come out the other side. And then just let the arm rest on your back. Lift your chest from here and lengthen your tailbone. You can hold on to your opposite arm if you would like. Woo, and just stretch. Maybe your left ear goes to your left shoulder. I'm mirroring here in case you're totally confused. As I often get when I'm mirroring. Good, just breathe. Don't over pull the head, don't over pull. And then tuck down to your left side chest. Breathe. And take the head up and neutral, let go of the arm if you're holding it. Reach it out and then externally rotate it. And let it go. Nice job. Take it out, other side. Arms out from the shoulder, internal rotation. Reach it behind you. See if you can get that hand to come out over toward the waist a little bit. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't like reach that shoulder back or twist because you're trying to get that hand there. And then lengthen the back and lift the chest. You can hold the arm if you can reach it. If not, don't worry about it. And when you're ready, you're going to take your right ear to your right shoulder. Ooh, yeah. Now it's getting a little warm in here. I had to put the heat on in Florida. Breathe. That's it. And then tuck down toward that right side chest. And bring the head back to neutral. Release your arm. Take that arm out and externally rotate. Good. And then shake them both out, everybody. Let's come to table pose. Your blocks can be toward the front of your mat. We're not gonna use them at this very moment, so you can take them there. And then come to your table pose. I think I'm gonna have to take the external shirt off. It got warm. And find table pose. Take the knees wider on your mat and your feet a little bit closer to each other. Take your left hand toward the center of the mat. Your wrist is either under shoulder or slightly forward. I always go just slightly forward, but then press into the hand. Take your right arm up to the ceiling. That's it. And maybe you gaze up, but don't lift the chin, right? You can gaze up, but keep the chin neutral and lower that hand down. Switch sides, your right hand center, your knees are wide, your feet are toward each other. Take the left arm up and breathe. Whoo, yeah, feel that, everybody. And exhale, release. Switch sides, take the top arm up. Internally rotate, take the arm behind your back and reach for your opposite sideways. I'm looking at my socks there. And breathe. Release, take it up. Exhale, let go. Switch sides. When you're ready, the left arm goes up. Internal rotation, everybody. That arm comes behind you. Reach for opposite side waist. Big deep breath. Take the arm up. Exhale back to the floor. Last one here. This one, eye of the needle. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, take it all the way through. So you brush that mat. The right arm goes across the mat. You drop down to your right shoulder. Your left hand can either be on the floor or it can be straight toward the top end of your mat. Notice your hips here, and if they tend to sway over to the left, if they do, just draw them slightly to the right. And one, you're going to stay here, especially if you already feel a fair amount of weight on the head. And if this feels really awful, come on out of it. Don't do it, because this is a funky pose. It's funky. Otherwise, you're going to take the left hand, reach it up to the ceiling, internally rotate it, and reach for the opposite side waist or leg. Yep, just breathe. And then release, take the arm up. If it's there, take the hand back to your yoga mat. Push into that hand, take the arm up to the ceiling. And exhale, let go. All right, other side, your right hand goes toward the center of your mat. The left arm goes up. Just stretch it out. Exhale, eye of the needle, slide that arm down your mat. Your head rests on the floor. Your right arm can be straight up toward the front of your mat. If you feel really crunched up here, you might be. And if you are, I would just slide the shoulder toward the front of your mat so that you get more space in your waist. There you go. One, you're here, right? Or here with your hand on the mat, or you're taking that hand up, internal rotation, and reach for opposite side, thigh or waist. Little tone to the belly. Find your breath. And when you're ready, take the arm up. Exhale it back to your yoga mat. Push into your hand. Lift the left hand up. Exhale, release it. Hands come to the floor. Tone through your belly. Flip your toes under and find downward facing dog. And once you're in down dog, let's pedal those feet out. Let's stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. You got it. Ooh, maybe shake your hips. Maybe find your breath, right? And then walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Bend your knees, hands to knees. Come on up to standing. I'm giggling at my toe socks because they're sliding off my toes. Let me take these socks off. They're not the sticky yoga ones, so they don't stay. All right. And just roll out your shoulders. Woo, there you go. And then from standing, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale them right out to the sides. Internally rotate both arms and then just reach them behind you and grab your opposite elbows. And then draw the shoulder blades down, but try not to over tug on the muscles here, right? So you're just drawing through the shoulder blades. And then feel the chest lift. But then feel the arms almost lengthen, almost slide down your back so that your lower back lengthens, okay? So it might be really subtle for you. And then press those hands or those arms into your back and come halfway down. Big tone to the belly and soft knees, everybody. Breathe, feel those hamstrings, and then just see if you can lift the elbows off the back, any amount. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then drop those arms back and come up to standing. Whew. Good. 1, you're going to stay here. 2, you're going to straighten the arms and interlace the hands. Once you interlace, I want you to slide the hands up and back down again. Slide them up and down. Slide them up and back down. Good. And then once again, you're here, you're going to draw the chest tall, but lengthen through the lower back. Bend halfway, bent knees, everybody, as if your chest were sitting on a flat table. Press the arms back, bend the elbows, and take the hands, your interlaced hands up the back, any amount that you can. Some of you are going to come down a little bit deeper. Elbows are still bent, the arms are pressing back, and then straighten the arms if you can or if you want to. The hands can go up, the shoulders press back. If your front shoulders are rolling to the floor, your arms should not be high. Everybody breathe. Soft, soft knees, everybody. Release your hands, take them to your shins, the front shins, and lift halfway up. Good, breathe. You can straighten the legs a little bit more here. So get a nice stretch of those hamstrings. Some of you are going to stay right here. The rest of us, fingertips to the floor, coming into more of a forward fold. Find your breath. Maybe the hands, the feet stay where they are. The hands can go a little further forward. The arms drop, or the head drops down between the arms, and you're just stretching out those hamstrings, maybe leaning back into the hips a little bit more. That's it. And then hands back to shins, halfway up. Bend both knees, hands to thighs, come up to standing. Whew. And roll it out. Good. And then just not quick, but quick little sun salutation, because I want to make sure that the hips are as warmed up as the upper body. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, hands to shins, just look up. And exhale down. Bend both knees, step back right leg. Lower your right knee to the floor. Release your back toes. Take your hands to your knee and come on up. Whew. Stretch it out. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Good. Shoulders are back. Think about it, right? A little bit of tone to the belly. Inhale, reach the arms up and forward. And then diagonal and forward. Straight out. Woo, and forward. Slight diagonal and forward. Last one, down at a low angle and forward. Take them up. Look up if you can. Exhale, hands to the floor. Lift your back knee. Step back, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Open up those shoulders, everybody. Plank pose. Have not been doing our planks, have we? No, we haven't. Press back isometrically with the heels. Tone the belly in. Lengthen that chest bone. Lower your knees. Optional, right? Chaturanga. Release to a low cobra. Low, low. Good. Press into everything. See if you can press through plank to downward facing dog. Use your breath. Look through your hands. Now, optionally, right, you can always lower knees and then step forward right leg, or look through the hands and bring that right foot forward. That's it. And then push off your back foot. Forward fold. Bend your knees. Inhale all the way up. Easy, easy. Exhale to your heart. Open up the shoulders and shake it out. We're going to do the other side. Full round sun salutes. Are you getting hot? You can open the window if you want. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down we go. Hands to shins, lift up halfway. Exhale down. Soften both knees, step back left leg. Lower that left knee to the floor. Take your hands to your knee and pause. Whew. And breathe. And feel the stretch on this one, right? It's amazing because it really depends on what your activity is, where we get tight. If you do the same thing over and over and over, that spot's going to get tight. So we got to make sure we're moving through lots of range of motion when we're doing whatever we're doing during the day. All right, you know what's coming. Inhale them up. Exhale forward. Inhale, slight diagonal and forward. Little baby diagonal. Sorry, Buddha. And forward. Open them out to the sides. Whew. Forward. Slight diagonal. And forward. All the way down. And forward. Take it up. Maybe look up. Exhale to the floor. Let's finish this little baby sun salute. Lift your back knee. Step back, downward facing dog. To plank pose. Breathe. Knees up or knees down. Chaturanga. Release to a low cobra. Exhale, plank. Down dog. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Purposefully walk your hands back to your feet. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Hands to knees. Come on up. Woo! Right? All right. Grab your strap as a possibility. And you can just take it right over your neck for now, somewhere where you can just let it be. And then take your left foot forward and your right foot back. Warrior two stance. We've been doing tons of warrior two lately. This is just a basic yoga pose, but you can build so much strength and stability with the pose. First things first, what's that front knee doing? Look at the front knee. If it's rolling in, just see, not the knee, but see if that front hip will just pull back. It's like you could take one finger to that hip and just go, I just want to go back a little bit. Okay. Belly tones, chest lifts, tailbone lengthens, front knee, front ankle. Basic stuff. Your strap is there for now. Arms go out to the sides. You're going to take your back arm, internally rotate, and reach it behind your back. You're either going to just press it against your waist, or you're going to grab your thigh. Okay, there's the bind in Warrior 2. If that just ain't happening, one strap over your shoulder, right? So you're holding, it's over that front shoulder, and you're just going to hold kind of this bind either with your strap, like, so you can hold on both, or you can hold both hands and just kind of feel what happens when you take that arm behind you. Strap, you don't need it at all, by the way. So you're here, maybe you grab your strap, take the top arm out, lean forward, lean forward. Notice what's happening with this shoulder. Keep that shoulder drawn back. I'm just going to take my strap out because I don't need it. Lean forward. And then take this front arm just to your thigh. So extended side angle, belly tones in, arm lengthens the back, the chest lifts, and we're finding extended side angle with the bind. The bind just means I'm holding on to something, right? I'm closing the loop, more or less. Good. And then come out the way you came in. Lift up. Arm goes out. Open the arm. Release your pose. And take your toes, your front toes turn in, and your back toes turn out. So we just change direction. That's all. Bend your front knee. If you're long, if you feel like your pose is a bit long, just shorten it up a little bit. Strap, no strap. I know I didn't explain that so much, but if the strap's around, you're just gonna like kind of grab it like we would grab our arm, like we did earlier. All right, so here we are. Check the front knee. Remember, we can just little coax of that hip back, but don't forget the back leg. Super strong back leg. Arms go out. The back arm internally rotates. Take it behind you. Where it goes is, as much the length of your arm as the shoulder complex, right? We're drawing that shoulder back. Maybe it catches your thigh. Maybe it just catches your waist, which I also like a lot. And then lean the torso forward. Lean, lean, lean. Just take the elbow. Notice that top shoulder, open it up if you can. Tone the belly, lengthen the tailbone. Find your breath. And then come out the way you came in. Reach out, turn all your toes forward. Whew. And just roll out your shoulders. Good. Switch sides. So again, left foot is forward, back foot is turned. Gonna get a little bit more funky here. Joy, right? Check the knee, check the hip. Tone in, lift up, all that stuff, right? So we do all of this alignment stuff so that we can relax a little, if that makes sense. So once you get there, don't don't stay really tight. Once you find your alignment for your body, then go, okay, I'm here. Arms out, back arm internally rotates. Reach it behind, either waist, maybe it's just to your back, maybe it's to your thigh. Reach forward. Either thigh to arm, or forearm rather, to thigh, like we did before. Check the front shoulder. Don't want the chest to drop down. If you move further in this pose and your front shoulder, your top shoulder rolls to the floor, you're too deep. That's all. Just come up higher. All right, so listen up. Either you're going to stay here or that front arm drops down the inside of your leg, right? We've done this before. Breathe. Release back to your thigh, push up, release both arms. We're taking this fairly slow. Switch sides, except for that part. Switch sides. Bend your front knee, come into your warrior or extended side angle stance, right? We know what to do now. Arms out, internal rotation of your back arm, reach behind your waist or your thigh, lean forward, either forearm to thigh, open up that top shoulder, or drop the arm down to the inside and breathe. Whoo, yeah. Come out, go back to your thigh, tone the belly, lift up, release the arms, take everything center. Whoo. And come into a forward fold. And breathe. Oh, I know. All right, come on up. Open the shoulders. Whew. Find your equilibrium. Go back to the first side. We're getting there, ladies and gents. All right, front foot forward, same thing, front knee bent. This time we're gonna just try a bind. And I was gonna use the strap, but I really think the strap messes things up. So if you cannot touch hands in any way, don't make it happen. Don't like force it to happen. Just come into the level that makes sense for you, okay? So arms out, here we are, warrior two. Internal rotation, back arm. Reach it behind you. It's either holding your waist or your thigh. Reach the top arm forward. Take the thigh to the arm, or I keep saying that, take the thigh to the arm. In a sense, you can do that, right? Because once that arm and thigh are connected, imagine pushing that thigh into it and it engages the leg more. So choice number one, you're right here, palm is face up. Choice number two, that arm drops down. Choice number three, that bottom arm wraps under the thigh and grabs your back hand. I know. Now, if your top shoulder roll down to the floor, you've gone too far. Breathe, everybody. You're going to release the way you came in. So if you were able to bind, release, take the arm to the thigh, lift up, open the arms, whoo, and release. We have not done binds in a long time. They are challenging. I truly believe it has a lot to do, in part, it has to do with how open we are, how long our limbs are, and depending on the side, really. So come into warrior two. Open up the arms. Whew. Find your breath. Internal rotation, back arm. Reach it behind you. See if you can find your waist or your thigh. Lean the torso forward. Take your arm to your thigh and pause. Open up the top shoulder. Breathe. One here. Two, you drop. Three, you wrap and find your hand. And breathe. I know. Whoo, yeah. Keep pressing into the back leg. I got a lot of weight in my front, so I'm trying to re-engage the back leg. As you're done, you're gonna release the way you came in. Lift up. Whoo. Turn all your toes forward and come on down. Just breathe. Maybe wiggle those shoulders a little bit. Maybe. Bend the knees. Come on up, everybody. Woo. Open it up. Shake it out. How are we doing on time? Good, 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 good. All right. So, what'd you think of that? we're going to add on a little bit. Grab one of your blocks and take it to the outside of your left ankle. Left foot forward, right foot back. Front leg straight. Don't hyperextend. Keep that engagement of the muscles. Keep the softness in the knee. One good way to do that is just to lift your front toes and press through the ball mound, but you don't need to. Good. So triangle pose. We've talked about triangle quite a bit if you've been with me for a while, right? We don't want to deep dive into the joint. We want the joint to be strong. So take your front hand and put it right into the crease where your thigh and your hip meet. And then imagine that you could draw your whole torso over the hand, okay? Notice that I'm not sinking in, I'm leaning over that leg, lean over, there you go. Okay, so take your back arm up, internal rotation. Reach it behind your back. You either got your waist or you got your thigh. Okay, that thigh reach is a long one, so be mindful. And then you're going to take your other hand, either slide down to mid shin, we've done this before, or to your block right there. That's all you got to do. And breathe. Shoulder is open, belly is toned, chest is lifted. Find your breath. Now, some of you are going to stay right here. You know, right? Some of you are going to release. Take that hand to the inside thigh. Some of you are going to just see if you can find a bind in triangle. It's harder because the leg is straight. You have a little bit more distance to cover. I know. Breathe. There's a reason I don't teach these very often, right? You're going to come out the way you came in, come up. Woo! Release the back arm. Turn all your toes. And all I want you to do is give yourself a big hug. Right? We've been opening this chest a bunch. So we're just shortening those muscles for a little bit. By the way, you know, another nice way to play here, which I didn't mention, is you can be near wall or at wall, so that when you're playing with the binds, you don't have to worry about balance so much. So just something to consider. And then release the arms, shake it out. You're going to need your block on the other side, possibly. So take that block to the outside of your right ankle. Open it up, find your alignment. Take the front hand into that hip crease and imagine draping your torso over that leg. Be mindful of the knee, right? Find that pose. Open the ribs, open the shoulders. Back arm, internal rotation, reach behind. See if you can grab your thigh or your waist. Lengthen your tailbone, right? So really lengthen the lower back. Your front hand either slides down the mid shin. I really like that. It's a controlled descent. Or it goes to your block. Open the chest. Or you think about the bind, right? Maybe the hand drops to the inside. You find your fingers. You open up your shoulders and breathe. That's it. I just noticed how much my front knee was bending, which means that bind is too tight for me. So I let it go. Come on up and out. Woo. Turn all your toes. Come into a forward fold. Just breathe. And here you might want to take the fingertips forward so that you can lengthen your spine and then press back isometrically to really lengthen your spine here. Good, hands come back underneath. Turn the toes out, bend both knees, come on up. Woo. Shake it out. All right. We're going to do one more. And this is going to be optional. And if your balance is a little challenged, I would suggest that you come to a wall space. Okay. So a bind, a partial bind with half moon is a really interesting thing in my brain. And I'm just going to move my mat. I think I'm just going to move my mat out of the way because I got a big, thick double mat here. And I've got a wall here if I need it, okay? So if I do it, you have permission to do it, right? So let's start with our left foot forward, our right foot back, but not a big step, not like warrior two. The block is in your left hand. So what's the block have to do with half moon, right? It gives you a little bit of height. I tend to not go at the high level because it can get wobbly, but I'll go with second level. And when you land your block in half moon, it's almost for everybody, pinky side, 8 to 12 inches forward of your pose, okay? So bend your front knee, take your back arm behind you, internally rotate. Reach it behind you, grab waist. Now, grab, right, is really the back of your hand. I hope that made sense this whole time. Or you're grabbing your thigh. And then lean forward and find the spot for your block. Bend your front knee, land your block, tone your belly, and then see if you can lift the leg. Notice that the arm being behind your back, it almost acts like, I don't know, like a place for you to lean, almost like a wall, right? I'm not looking forward, I'm looking straight down. I've got the weight over the center of my feet, and then I'm gonna imagine someone pulling my extended leg toward them. To release, bend your front leg. Come on out. You can release your arm beforehand if you need to, and then shake it out. Yay! I like half moon that way. It is with that arm back there. It's almost like you could lean into that arm to open this up and to create a little bit more stability. Of course, that other option is physical wall behind you. All right. Right foot forward, left foot back. The block is in your hand. Go easy, go slow. I know we're kind of moving through this, I think rather quickly, maybe not. All right, so back arm back, front knee bent, internal rotation, reach it behind you. Either your waist or your thigh, okay? You're gonna lean forward. You're gonna think about it. You're gonna land your block. I still feel super stable. Once I'm ready, I'm gonna push off the back foot. I'm gonna open up my hips, lengthen my belly. I'm gonna pretend someone's pulling on that back leg. Open the top shoulder. Use your breath. That's it. Breathe. Release, bend the front knee, and come on up. And woo, release the arm, everybody. All right, I got to go retrieve my mat. So if you came off mat, come on back. Come to the front of your mat. Woo, yeah. Inhale it up. Exhale, forward fold. Oh, yeah. Shake out your hips. You can walk those hands forward a little. Find your breath here, everybody. And then from here, step back to downward facing dog. Shake them out. Spread the fingers, externally rotate those upper shoulders. Find your pose. And then come to plank pose. So I want you to think about plank, right? You can drop to knees, always, always. But we just stretched the heck out of our chests. Now we're working the muscles, right? No kidding. Fire up the legs, tone in through the belly, the chest bone lifts. You're gazing toward the front of your mat. Woo! Breathe, keep firing up the arms. Fire them up, fire them up. Breathe, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your knees and come back to child's pose. Once you're in child's pose, either the hands make a rest for your forehead, one of my favorite ways now, or the hands are behind you, as long as your head's not dropping too much, or child's pose is instead you're on your belly. Everybody breathe. All right. We're almost there. Come on up. Table pose. Grab one block. You don't, well, let me say it this way. You want to both stretch and strengthen, okay? So we did the stretching. Now we're doing the strengthening. Half plank, half plank. What's that mean? You're not in table, your butt's not up, right? Your torso is more diagonal. I like to bend the knees and cross the ankles. It keeps me off my knee caps, feels much better in my body. I have my block up at the highest level so that it taps the center of my chest. Here we go for 5. 1, 2, 3, just tap your block. 4 and 5. And breathe. 1, you're there, you're going to stay there. 2, you're lowering it to the second level. As we strengthen, if the second level's too low, you go back to high. You build strength, one step at a time. Elbows in, best you can. Here we go for 5. Try not to curl down. 1, 2, 3. You don't have to go super fast. 4 and 5. Press up. Maybe stretch back, a little puppy stretch. And then you decide you're either high, medium, or low. Obviously, that's a little harder, a little more challenging, a little more room to explore the possibilities. Spread the fingers, tone in through your belly. Chaturanga-like arms, okay? 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Woo. And press up. Take both of your blocks and take them at a diagonal on your yoga mat. So the top ends of your blocks, those corners are closer and they spread out. Take your forearms to your blocks, your fingers soft interlace, your knees walk back. And if you can, I just want you to drop your chest and drop your forehead to the floor. Arms are on your blocks. If that hurts or feels real funky, then do this without the blocks. Just breathe, everybody. That's it. Just stretching it out. Soft fingers, soft fingers. And then press up. Whew. And scoot your blocks out of the way. Grab your blanket. You're going to take your blanket into a nice burrito roll. There's probably a better word, but that's what you get. Burrito roll. Make it nice and thick. And then you're going to set that on your yoga mat. And once you're there, the first thing I want you to do is lay back so that your head, neck, shoulders are supported, okay? So you're going to be low enough, I guess, on the yoga mat so that your head is fully supported by your blanket. Whew, yeah. And just pause. The arms are down, more down at your sides. So feel that your sacrum, depending on how tall you are, your sacrum, actually it doesn't matter. Your sacrum should be on the floor. So if it isn't, if your hips aren't touching the floor or you're feeling a really deep back bend in the low back, scoot down your blanket more, okay? Because I don't want this to be in the low back. And just breathe. And then take both arms overhead. Again, watch the shoulders. Interlace the hands softly and just stretch the arms overhead. Don't let the chin lift. Separate the hands. Leave your right back of your palm on the floor. Take your left arm up and bring it down to the floor by your hips. We did this at the beginning of class, but not with the blanket. And then switch both. And switch. And switch. Good. One more. Both sides. Switch. And switch. And release. Both arms down. Now listen up. You're going to scoot up your blanket so that your head drops over the edge of the blanket. And once again, I do ask you to be mindful. This should feel just fine. You're a little wobbly because you're on the blanket. So your spine is dead center along the blanket. Your head is resting on the floor. Breathe. Shoulders are open. Arms are down at your sides. And breathe. I have my feet on the floor. I don't have my legs straight. For me, the very top of my sacrum is being supported, so I don't have any low back curve or anything. I just have a nice neutral spine. Big deep breath. That's it. Now, where you are, right? That blanket is at the just at the ridge of your skull. I want you to create tension there or stretch. So I'm leaving my head down, but I'm pulling my torso down away from the blanket. It's as if you could stretch your neck by lengthening and moving your torso away from it. I hope this is making sense to you. So the blanket might slip up a little bit. Don't worry about that so much. Your chin might tuck a little bit, but you just keep creating the traction that is pulling the base of your skull, the occipital area, away from the shoulders and really lengthening your neck. Yep. And you can keep going until your chin is pretty well tucked. Just breathe, stretching it out. Good. And then finally here, I want you to scoot down your blanket until you've got maybe an inch or 2 or 3 of blanket above you, and the lower part of your blanket is back around the shoulder blades or the upper ribs. Last one here. Pause for a moment. And then you're going to take your arms overhead, but you're going to take your hands underneath your blanket. And you can cross the hands, or the hands can grab opposite sides of that rolled up blanket. So your elbows are pointed up toward the top end of your mat. Your head is supported by the blanket. It's grounded by your shoulder blades. And gently just lift your head, curl your elbows forward toward your knees. You're tucking your chin, as you can tell by my talk that I'm all tucked in here. So you're just curling your whole neck and upper chest. If you opened your eyes, you'd be looking either at your knees or between your legs. And then slowly lower it all the way down. Ooh. Open the shoulders out to either side. Bring your knees to your chest, roll to one side, roll off your blanket, just set it off to the side for a moment and come back onto your back. That's it. Take both hands underneath your head, interlace the fingers as if you were just laying at the beach. I always think of this, I don't know why. I'd never lay like this at the beach, but you're laying on your lounge chair, your elbows are out to your sides, draw the shoulder blades under your back. Just notice. And then as you exhale, again, mindful of your neck, as you exhale, I want you to curl chin to chest, elbows toward knees. Okay, so the elbows come in. Let the head be heavy. And as you inhale, lower the head, open the elbows, maybe lift the chin, but don't lift the head, right? Just lift the chin. And then as you exhale, curl, elbows tuck. And then inhale, open and lift the chin. Good. Last one here. Tuck, elbows in, open, lift the chin. And then lengthen the back of the neck. Release the arms. You're back to cactus arms. Maybe notice those arms. See if they feel any different. Take the feet wide on your yoga mat. Lower your knees toward the left. So coming into a twist with cactus arms. If the arms are bothersome here, just take them down lower or straighten them. That's okay too. And then feel the space as your knees go to the left. Feel the stretch and the space through the right side of your belly. Relax your jaw. There's length in your neck. You can even turn your head one way or the other. Big deep breath, everybody. Find your breath. Soften your face. Let your inner eye find gladness and compassion. Soften your belly. One, you're going to stay here. We have done this twist before, but you don't have to go there. If you want, one, you're here, or two, you're going to take the right arm across and you're going to twist the chest toward the floor and come to your elbows. It's a much deeper twist, so please just decide if you really want that at this point in class. It's okay either way. Just breathe. Couple more breaths. If you decided to go that deeper twist, extend the left arm out to drop your chest back to the floor, and then open your knees, legs, all that right back up again. All right, so when and if you're ready, we're gonna go to the other side. The knees go to the right. You're just gonna pause. Your arms are relatively cactus. Feel maybe the stretch through the left side, maybe the front of the thigh, maybe the belly, maybe the shoulder, right? And just pause here. Nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just breathe. Maybe the head turns one way or the other, but it should feel good. It should feel like that's the way this twist wants to be, not because it's some way in your head that it should be. And then decide for you if you want to stay right here, this just gorgeous little twist, or take the left hand across, you lean over to your right side. Press into your hands as you turn the chest toward the floor and come to your elbows. Some of you can come down to your chest here as well, but I'm choosing to stay up on the elbows just to feel the twist at this level. Again, you play. Notice how it feels in your body. Can you smile? Can you be proud of your accomplishment today, of being here, of being present, of sticking with it, right? Of taking small steps in the right direction for you. There you go. And if you have decided to go into the deeper twist, the easiest way is to stretch the right arm out, drop down to that right side, open yourself back up. Woo. Come back onto your back. Bring both knees to your chest. Now, if your rolled up blanket is available and you're not using it to cover yourself up, which I should because it's chilly now, I want you to take that blanket right under those upper thighs, like almost to the sit bones. And then release one leg over that blanket. And then release the other leg over the blanket. So this allows the hips to posteriorly rotate a little bit or tilt a little bit so that the lower back is just a happy little camper. And the knees don't hyperextend and we can just relax in our Savasana. So take a moment there and throw my blanket back on, or my shirt back on. Find yourself in Savasana. Realize we're running just a little late, so sorry about that. But feel your whole body settle down into the floor. And from the tip of your head to your face, to your neck, to your chest, belly, hips, legs, and feet. Let all of that go. And allow gravity to take you deeper into your Savasana. Allow the eyes to close softly. Allow the breath to move in and out without effort. Soften a little more. For those of you who are ready, go ahead and start to wiggle gently your way out of your Shavasana, toes, fingers. How time flies when we're having fun. Draw your knees to your chest. Rock side to side and allow those knees to roll to one side or the other. And as you're ready, press yourself all the way up to your seated pose. And once you're there, take your hands to your heart. Bow to your own inner goodness and your willingness to put one foot in front of the other and make your life happen with joy. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you, everybody.